In this lesson, we will be exploring the element of art shape and our organic shapes. Our focus element of art for today's lesson is, of course, shape. Now, what are organic shapes? We learned that geometric shapes can be defined, like a circle, square, rectangle, octagon, pentagon, all these different shapes we've heard about. But what about organic shapes? Organic shapes are a bit different. They can't be defined. They're wiggly and all different. We might be able to say, oh, maybe this shape kind of looks like a flower or it looks like a leaf. But there's nothing called a leaf shape or a lake shape or a mountain shape. These shapes are undefined, which makes them so interesting and unpredictable. Many artists use different organic and geometric shapes, but perhaps the most memorable is Henri Matisse. You may have heard of him before. Henri Matisse later in his art career would make paper cutouts, just like we've been practicing. He really wanted to focus on making interesting organic shapes, shapes that cannot be defined, just by cutting out paper. Now, there wasn't really a plan for the different organic shapes that were cut. The way these art pieces were created was by, after cutting all these organic shapes, thinking about how they might be arranged on the page for a final work of art. Here are some examples of very beautiful and inspiring pieces by the artist Henri Matisse. Feeling inspired? All right, it's time to get started on our project. Feel free to look back at some of Matisse's work shown earlier in the video to inspire your organic shape work of art. All right, let's get started. Last time, we created a work of art by using geometric shapes. We wanted to fill up our page to make it look interesting and balanced. This looks fantastic. All right, so on this coming project, we're gonna not use geometric shapes. We're gonna be using just organic shapes. Recognize this paper? This paper I did not throw away. I'm using it again. It's great to use paper that still can be used because we're not wasting it. You're going to also need a white piece of paper, a pair of scissors, a glue stick, and a messy mat, of course. You do not have to use the same colors as last time. I am choosing to, but the choice is yours. So, you might have gotten inspired by Matisse's artwork when he created his paper cutouts. We're going to be doing something that he called painting with scissors. As you can see, I have a steering hand. That's my hand with the bluish colored ring on it. My left hand is steering and my scissors are staying in the same spot. I'm turning with one hand to make these shapes look interesting and have smooth cuts. Now I'm cutting shapes that are pretty challenging, but try your best. Again, organic shapes are shapes that cannot be defined. You don't need a plan when you create these shapes. You just kind of go with the flow while you're cutting and see what you end up with. That's what's so exciting about creating organic shapes. They always are a mystery. Now, you might also notice I am not gluing right now. I am just kind of cutting out my organic shapes and putting them on my white piece of paper. Now, this is another strategy. We're going to try to make shapes that have symmetry, same on both sides. So I kind of cut out a rough rectangle and I'm folding it in half. There's my crease, okay? There's my crease again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on this crease. And I'm going to kind of use that same technique of just painting with my scissors, turning with that steering hand, and keeping my scissors straight while I cut. When I open my shape up, I have an organic shape with symmetry that looks kind of like a cute bug. Now I can also use this paper from that organic shape that I cut out and create another organic shape from it. That's what's so cool about organic shapes. I really haven't used much paper at all, but I've already started a really, really cool organic shape work of art. Your organic shapes can be big, your organic shapes can be small. See what you come up with. All right, I'm going to change up the colors a bit. Again, you can do a combination. You can do some with symmetry that you folded. You can do some where you just cut into the paper. The choice is yours. But again, we're trying to create a work of art with organic shapes that fills the page. You can even be interesting with it. This kind of looks like seaweed. Maybe I'll put it at the bottom of my page. So be creative with the way you put down your organic shapes. You might also notice when you cut out an organic shape that it might turn out to be a pretty cool shape that actually looks like something. This shape to me kind of looks a little bit like a dinosaur or a flamingo. I love it. That's what's so exciting. Now again, make sure you don't glue. My glue stick has stayed in the exact same spot the entire video, because if I started gluing immediately, I might not be able to think about what I want my art piece to eventually look like. I'm going to keep on cutting and experimenting with my folding technique to create symmetrical organic shapes, or just by cutting into the paper. The choice is yours. Alright, my gluing is done. This looks fantastic. Make sure to check that everything is flat and cap your glue stick. What's fun is to compare your first project with your second project. Look how different my organic shape one looks versus my geometric shape project. I hope you had fun with this activity.